Cameron's next project, the underwater epic The Abyss, starred Ed Harris, Michael Biehn, and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio.
On The Abyss, one of the goals there was to really put the audience underwater. So I knew I had to put my actors in the water, underwater, and I had to see them. And, you know, actors communicate so much of what they're feeling emotionally through the timbre of their voice and their vocal performance. They needed to be able to talk. So now we're talking about helmets. So we train the actors. Now we're all down there underwater and we're doing scenes. And Ed Harris has got his script laminated in plastic so he can read the dialogue before the take and all that. I mean, we had an underwater soundstage.
One time we were down there and everybody was on different air supplies, and we'd go over to this underwater filling station to fill up air, and everybody had different levels of air, and whenever you ran low, you went and got some underwater. And we were down there, and we all had safety divers and so on and so forth. They lost power in the plant, so it went black. Everything just went black. And I mean, black, like black, like you couldn't see this in front of your face. So I panicked for about 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and then I realized that I was wearing one of these flashlights that my character wears and uses under the water. So I turned on the flashlight, got the flashlight turned on. People started swimming and coming over real quickly, and Jim came over, and Jim was very calm and described how we were going to make our way out, and kind of with signals and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, again, I'd put in a 16-hour day. And I walked by the tank, and in the tank they had big windows, kind of like these, so you could watch us filming. And as I walked by the tank after getting out of makeup, I was just exhausted, and Jim was still in the water, and he's probably been in the water 18 hours, and he was hanging off the line, decompressing, because he'd spent so much time in the water, he had to come up very slowly. So to save time, or to make his time work better for him, he was down there and he was watching dailies on an underwater monitor, you know, and it's just the type of guy he is. He just loves films, and he just works and works and works and works and works, and it's kind of a joy to see.
The Abyss just kind of sprung up as a concept. It was actually a concept that I had in high school, and I wanted to play with some ideas that were more emotional and philosophical and less about action and shocks and scares, and which I think probably accounts for its sort of, you know, middling performance business-wise. It wasn't a bomb, but it didn't make a lot of money, and you know, I think that people wanted it to be more of that adrenaline thing. They wanted more of the suspense and the jolts and the thrills and spills, and The Abyss wasn't ever intended to be that, you know. But does that mean you don't make a film as a filmmaker? You know, I think you have to explore new territory.
Oh, wait, it's okay.
It was a good film to have done. You know, it wasn't always a good film to be doing, but it was a good film to have done, because you make a film like The Abyss with all its technical and emotional challenges, and you come out the end of it and you say, you know what, I feel like I just climbed Mount Everest. So every mountain after you've climbed Mount Everest looks easier, you know, or at least, or maybe I suppose the downside of that is now you delude yourself that you can do more, you know, and which could be a mistake, because you wind up making a movie like Titanic, which, you know, was certainly more than The Abyss.
As a writer, you would think he would be invested in every word, yet when he's on the set and in the moment, if something's not working, it's out. When he, you know, wraps the film and takes off his directing hat and puts on his editing hat, that scene that he took 3 days to shoot meticulously, if it doesn't work in the context of the integrated whole, it's out.
Here you have a guy like Jim Cameron, who is a brilliant writer, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously one of the best writers out there, who is open to ideas about his dialogue. And I think it makes him a better director. Now, he'll let you know if you don't have a very good idea in no uncertain terms, but he'll listen.
He's constantly willing to reevaluate in light of new information, and keeping his eye on the integrated whole of what he's trying to create.